listening to Comic Reflections, episode 57. I'm Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Barnhart.
Today,
Well, we're going into Flash, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I always thought it's kind of, I don't know. It's going to, Flash is sort of more white bread than Superman, even. But
in a way.
I don't know why. It's just, well, at least the Superman had the crazy things in the Silver Age or so. And I don't know, Flash is always going fast, and he's going through walls by vibrating a certain speed.
Yeah.
He's married, settled down, and he's always kind of,
And he's got a cast of regular villains that just kind of pop up, and it's all just kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are. Flash is going crazy because he was doused with angel dust.
All right, now hang on. This is Flash number 277. The story is The Self-Destruct Flash, and it's written by Cary Bates with art by Alex Saviuk and Frank McLaughlin. Now, Iris has just been murdered.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flash doesn't know who's done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows up at the jail. He's drugged with PCP and sent to the jail. He goes to the JLA satellite, and the whole Justice League have to fight him to get him, settled down.
He gives him a good fight, too. Although they don't really want to hurt him because he's a good guy.
And he's their friend. And then they all go to the Iris's funeral. It's all sad. And
a bunch of people are there. Clark Kent and his parents and Bruce Wayne and Diana Prince, whoever they are.
Noticeably absent Hal Jordan and Ralph Dibny. Oh, no, Ralph and Sue are there, but Hal Jordan is absent. And he and Barry Allen were great friends, so maybe he was off in space and doesn't even know Iris has been killed.
Yeah, or maybe he was on duty, or somebody's got to
on monitor
keep
duty?
an eye on the store.
But you'd think you would have, like, the Atom or somebody do that.
Right.
I don't know. But at any rate.
Yeah.
So the Flash he's grieving, and the Mirror Master shows up, and there's some problems with that. Oh, Barry's going to announce his retirement. He's going to reveal his secret identity and retire because he's... but then he's got to stop the Mirror Master.
Yeah, and so the Mastermind girl... feels bad about finding out his secret identity.
Right.
We missed the issue, apparently, but she's only a little 16, 17-year-old.
Something like that, yeah.
And so she gets... has Flash change his mind and become Flash again and not retire.
Yeah, and the people of Central City are like, no way, we love the Flash, so I think it's great. He doesn't give up his identity. And what is the Mirror Master scheme? I know he was in this issue.
He's sucking up money with a...
oh, that's right. He's got this like a hovercraft thing, and it's got these big fans that are sucking money. Flash gets the idea to swipe a bunch of candy bars and gum up the works of this thing.
Yeah, but wouldn't the fans chew up the money?
Yeah, it's kind of a good point. If they're chewing up chocolate, why wouldn't they? Yeah. That didn't even occur to me. So.
Yeah, but decent story. I was surprised. I like stories where I don't know what's happening or where it's going to.
If you can see what's coming, like, oh yeah, that's kind of lame. But this, you're like, well, who knows? I mean,
some of the goofier Silver Age stuff, I have no idea where they're going. It's a little trip to somewhere I don't know. But
yeah.
But
there's a shift in the Bronze Age. Like, let's have a serious life event, happen here, and becoming a widower, boy.
Yeah. Let's see. How many superheroes are married?
Quite a few. I mean, Elongated Man, Hawkman.
Yeah.
And it's just DC Comics.
But it's.
Ray Palmer of the Atom is married at one point. And then in Marvel Comics, I mean, mostly they're bachelors.
Yeah, it's just easier because, of course, Reed Richards.
Well, right. But I think it's easier to have other plot elements like, is it the relationship going to work out? Or, once you're married, you're kind of like, okay, well, that's basically a dead end until they have a child.
Right.
Plot, storyline-wise. So I understand why they do it.
Oh, yeah. the relationships on TV shows,
Yeah,
when they get married, the
it's
show's
over.
over.
Yep,
And
that's what killed
uh,
Moonlighting.
killed
Mo-
Moonlighting, killed
Frasier,
Rhoda,
Rhoda, yeah,
killed Frasier.
yeah. Well, he
I
didn't
think
die.
Frasier. No, I think Frasier was that was the end anyway.
Well, yeah. Once Niles and Daphne got together, that was kind of the end. But
I think they're heading there.
yeah.
They had a good run.
Oh yeah, it ran for.
Frasier is the longest running TV character in history.
Right, because he was on Cheers
Cheers.
for 10 years, and then
And
and then 10 years of Frasier.
segue. The reason he was on Cheers a lot because he really annoyed Diane, and people
Good.
didn't like Diane at all. So they kept his character on just to
Well, I think
annoy
they disliked Rebecca even more.
him. I'm talking about the real people. The
Oh,
actors.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
indeed.
Not Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
Shelley, not.
No, not Winters.
It's not Shelley Winters. It's not Shelley Duvall. Shelley Long.
Yeah.
Shelley Duvall was in The Shining and Popeye.
Right.
Shelley Long was
He's
Cheers.
large.
Yeah.
Popeye is a great movie.
I have
Funny.
a weird like thing about Shelley Duvall. It's weird.
He seems nice.
No, I know. I'm so sad when I watch The Shining. I get so sad because her character Wendy is so sweet, and then he's just awful to her,
Right.
and it just breaks my heart.
Yeah. So,
I'm a softie, I guess.
yeah. Popeye is the only Robin Williams movie I will watch.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All
let's
right.
move on to the Flash.
Yeah.
Get back to the Flash.
And Death Feast.
That's right. It's in Flash
You
number
have to
2.
say it that way.
Yeah, Flash number 279. Written by Carrie Bates, with art by Alex Saviuk and Frank Chiaramonte. Flash is on the hunt for his wife's killer. He's on the trail, but he's been given a false lead. He thinks that guy Yorkin, who was like that, people were doing all the experiments on his mind and making him the weird, crazy killer guy. He thinks that he was responsible for Iris's death, but it's not the case.
Yeah. Kind of a Mr. Hyde character.
Yeah, but I think this guy couldn't have planned a thing like Iris's death
Right.
either. But it
And-
would later be revealed that it was the Reverse Flash.
The mistress mind, her female mastermind, is helping out, trying to find out who it is.
Yeah.
Interesting ad for Unexpected, which I had seen the ad before. I really want to read that now. But,
Yeah, The Unexpected was. I love house ads. The Unexpected was another one of DC's quote unquote mystery titles where they had, kind of Twilight Zone-y horror stories. And I think at some point we'll probably look at an issue or some of The Unexpected. So,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. Gorkin is being chased, and
He's on a rampage, really.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, and he's beating the crap out of people and killing cops, and yeah,
Flash saves some people from a burning building.
right, and
Oh, and heat wave, a fire started by heat wave, and
he's
heat wave.
trying to get Yorkin.
Yeah, and Flash, he's almost treats heat wave like a friend. Like, no, you got to get out of here. You gotta.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool. Flash has this kind of report. Like the Flash villains that are kind of like make up the group, the Rogues. They hate the Flash, but there's something between them. There's a camaraderie even between
respect among rivals or something.
Yeah.
Or,
that they all seem to share. So and he's a caring guy. He's like, look, they're not like, it's not like they're dark side or just really evil guys. They're just petty criminals. So yeah. Moving on to.
Oh,
Well, we're flying through. We're moving
will
on.
you believe me when I'm dead?
Yeah, and that is from the Flash number 290, and it's written by Carrie Bates with art by Don Heck and Frank Chiaramonte.
Not a bad story. We start with Flash is bringing in the trash, some stupid criminal.
Oh no, that's not just any criminal. That's Dr. Alchemy.
What a great name!
Yeah.
And
Dr. Alchemy was a schizophrenic. He would go back and forth between being Dr. Alchemy and Mr. Element.
That is.
And they were both supervillains, though.
Okay. Well, he's still the trash.
Yeah.
So this girl thinks that Barry Allen, her neighbor, is after her.
Right.
And it's and the Flash hears about it, says, "Uh-oh, what's going on with this?"
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not after her.
Yeah.
So he goes on a date with her, or he's talking. So he devises, let's go check out Barry Allen. So
Oh, this
he
is great.
he runs in, changes to Barry Allen getting out of bed, and then comes back and forth at
Like
super speed.
like through the wall and changing, so he's able to have a conversation with himself, like to kind of
Hmm.
give himself an alibi and like make her like not fearful,
But
which
it
is
doesn't
cool.
work.
It
But
doesn't.
yeah, well, she still thinks that Barry Allen, and the reason is she. Let's see, was it going after a mob boss? Was that it?
Oh, I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, or some kind of She's on the lam. She's a witness protection program,
Oh, right, right, right.
and so I think it was a mob boss. But the mob boss looks exactly like Barry Allen.
Interesting.
But
Oh,
she
wait.
remembered that 'cause her memory was wiped,
Yeah.
but she still remembered that.
And there's something going on because government agent King Faraday gets involved in this too. He's a G-man,
What a great
super
name.
spy. Oh yeah, and he's got his own solo stuff
Hmm.
that I think we'll at least look at one issue of at
Hmm.
some point later on. I think he had some stuff in Showcase. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, he shows up and yeah, it's
Yeah.
we get a
And
cliffhanger.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so we get a backup story in this issue.
This is an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's the secret history of the nuclear man. It's Firestorm, and it's written by Jerry Conway, with art by George Perez,
Hmm.
and ink by Bob Smith.
Yeah. It's interesting that these two, some nuclear accident. There's a one guy and the
The
professor
student and Professor
professor,
Stein.
and they get
Uh,
the and
they're
their thoughts and personalities are melded into Firestorm or Nuclear Man,
yeah. Oh
and
gosh.
but the professor has no idea what's going on. He turns a drink
Yeah, he had
because all
lost
these.
his memory that this was had happened. I'm trying to remember the kid's name. Uh,
Oh,
I can't believe I'm blanking on this
oh, I'm.
because I'm pretty familiar with Firestorm.
I never seen him before.
It'll
Yeah,
come back to it. We'll just get on. And
yeah.
so the kid is, man, this gonna bug me all day. Um, is trying to convince Professor Stein that yes, we are Firestorm, and Stein thinks he's nuts.
Hmm.
But then the kid finds a way to like make the transformation happen and then prove it to him, right?
Right. Yeah, and Firestorm calls and he's naked and it's, oh, hey, I need to, where's my pants at? I thought
So
that
he
was,
makes a cool costume for himself, and
hmm
it's pretty great.
yeah. And I don't know, it's a
And
little thing of timeline about meeting his villains. Looks
yeah,
like interesting villains and
well, yeah,
meeting his.
he's got a couple good villains, Killer
Hmm.
Frost and the Hyena.
Hmm.
They're pretty good, and he talks about meeting the
Danton
Justice.
Black. Danton Black.
That's not a guy that I'm familiar with, but it talks about meeting the Justice League, and
Hmm.
it's just kind of getting. This is a good introduction to Firestorm.
Yeah. Oh,
So
it's pretty good.
man, so
Not bad.
yeah. Oh yeah, Ronald Raymond. That's Firestorm, the kid. So then we have Flash number 304, and the story is One More Blip and You're Dead. It's written by Cary Bates with art by Carmine Infantino. The classic Flash artist returns to the book, with inks by Bob Smith.
It's interesting because this is beginning of the computer age.
Yeah,
The
the home
um,
computer age.
yeah. And so the drawings is kind of goofball, but it's kind of cool for the time period. And it,
Yeah, I think this bears a little bit more explaining what's going on in this
okay,
story.
so there is this guy, mean toy baron who's making this super popular game, and the guy who invented the game for him comes in, and the guy gives him, I don't know, about $50 as a bonus because making the most popular toy in the world.
Right.
So he gets his revenge
Yeah.
and makes this computer. The game, if you play it, will make a computer man, but it gets to the wrong person, which is Barry Allen's neighbors.
Yeah. One specific copy of this toy
Right.
was made to like be the killer one or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, And so,
So the creature burns down a place, and the Flash has got to go around and put put his neighbor's kitchen out.
yeah.
It just, yeah, I don't know why he had to do this. So why does he care if he knows the Flash did it, or does he not want the Flash around too much in one building? So
Here's the thing: Barry has a pretty good friendship going with these neighbors.
hmm
This is a single father and a son. So if the Flash shows up all the time, don't you think he would suspect that hey, maybe Barry's the Flash?
yeah, probably.
So I think that's what it is.
hmm
So
Yeah, okay, but so Flash figures out that the game went to the wrong person. It's supposed to be for the president of the company's son.
mm-hmm.
So this huge, monstrous looking
What's he
robot,
called? Like Commander or something or
yeah,
Colonel?
Commander, Colonel Computer or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Colonel Computron.
Oh boy,
Man, it's kind of lame, but not. I don't know.
it's pretty lame.
Yeah, okay. I was trying to be generous, but
You don't have to be.
yeah.
It's kind of bad.
So, Computron turns Flash into pixels. So,
And then they fight inside this video game computer,
mm-hmm.
and it's kind of just as sucky as it sounds.
Yeah, it is. All right. We missed a couple of Twinkie alerts, but there's a Twinkie alert with a penguin
Oh, good.
and with no superheroes.
Yeah, the Joker had him too.
Oh, okay. But it's on slick paper.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, sometimes you get there's people paid for slick paper in
I
the
think it
advertisement.
was CBS because right behind there is Toon Time.
Or DC says, hey, in our center spread, we got a glossy stock
hmm
color ad space, and if people want to buy that, they can. So probably Hostess and CBS, and then who's ever on the other side, pay for that ad space.
Yeah, and, yeah. 1981. I wasn't watching cartoons on Saturday, so these are not familiar to me except for Tarzan, Lone Ranger, and Bugs Bunny.
Black Stars on there, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, Solo Adventure. I think I've seen one or two of those. And,
Yeah,
the new Fat Albert show.
it's
I don't.
probably just the new season.
There's only about 12 episodes, it seems. I don't know.
I don't know.
They're okay. But we're in the computer, and he's all computerized, pixelated, and kind of cool. He figures out how to get out of it.
But see, I don't want to read a comic where I'm looking at Flash as a Commodore 64 character, you know?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just kind of sucks. I mean, and so Flash wins and,
hmm
whatever, and the guy's saved, but eh,
Yeah, okay. All
it's
right.
just kind of a weak experiment. So we have a backup story. It's Firestorm again, and Firestorm's got to fight his one of his arch enemies, the hyena, and
hmm
it's like it turns out it's this chick. She's this were creature.
Yeah,
Interesting that his two main super foes are female.
that is interesting. And very, because,
Usually, if you'll have a female supervillain, and they'll be the femme fatale,
yeah,
and neither are the case in this.
yeah. Batman's got quite a few.
Well, yeah, but
And he's kind of the exception to the rule.
yeah, I can't. I'd be hard pressed to. I mean, I'd have to think about it for. I know there are, but Superman,
Superman, he's
He's-
had some, but
he's got like
no
this
recurring.
the Silver Banshee. That's the only one
Yeah,
that I could
not
think
really
of,
any recurring
and,
villains.
or
What
villainesses, I should
Yeah.
say.
hmm
Yeah, because the female supervillain usually there's far fewer of them,
hmm
just in general, and so many rogues galleries will be completely bereft of them,
hmm
and then oftentimes they'll be the one that's not so bad, and they reform, and
Right. Or
they,
oh, they
that
got
kind
the
of
hots for the heroes.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Well, I kind of like the villainesses because they're different.
yeah.
And
Like when you read The Spirit, he's got all these femme
Mhm.
fatale villainesses, and they're really cool.
yeah, and they put them all in that awful movie, and it was just awful, awful, awful. One of
Yeah,
the
it
worst.
was.
Man, what a disappointment.
Yeah, like I
Mm.
said, I'll just put it on mute. It's a nice looking movie, you know.
Yeah. All right, but
So
that ain't enough.
no, you got to have a
Dang.
good story, and they didn't have one.
hmm
And you can't have the octopus. You're only supposed to see his hands. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
so Firestorm's fighting the hyena,
Mhm.
and then we get her whole backstory. How she didn't feel loved by her parents and
Mhm.
junk, and her she
She tried to become a policewoman, and
to
she
please her
wasn't able
father.
to, and
Yeah,
yeah, and I guess this happens. I'm not sure. It's common in literature and movies, but I don't know if I've ever seen it in real life. I'm sure it happens, but
sure. Just the parent that you can never, please, no matter what
hmm
you do, it happens. And anyway, she goes when she joined the Peace Corps or something. And then she got bit by a were hyena, so
yeah,
she becomes a were hyena.
but the guy bites her is human, and then he turns into the hyena, and then he's blown away by the shotgun. No, it's a rifle, excuse me.
Yeah,
And then she turns into a hyena.
yeah.
Okay, I thought that you had to be the werewolf instead of just the person to
Well,
fight
here's
somebody.
the thing: the guy when he turns into the were hyena, he's probably bit her as he was starting to transform.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
whatever.
Okay. Well, hyena goes and kicks butt, and let's see.
And
And
Firestorm, is able to like track her down and trick her into. He uses illusions to trick her. I think it's her father speaking to her, and like, hey, I
oh,
love you and
mm-hmm.
stuff, and yuck, but mushy mush, and then she calms down and reverts back to her real self, and they get a
Hmm.
help for
Yeah. Although, what can you do for a werewolf?
her. Yeah. So this next issue that we've got to talk about, I'm real jazzed about. This is real big stuff. It's Forever People #1. Um, it's the story is In Search of a Dream, and it's written, edited, and drawn by Jack Kirby, and inked by Vince Colletta. And this is just bonkers stuff. I love Jack Kirby's DC stuff in the '70s.
It is, yeah, hippies from space.
They're not one guy has long hair. That makes Big Bear a hippie.
No, you don't have to have long hair to be a hippie. But these are, I mean, they're very definitely, this is new age stuff. The
Okay.
Mother Box, Beautiful Dreamer,
Well,
the
mother
Pro.
box is all part of the whole New Gods thing. I mean, Orion and Lightray had mother boxes.
Yeah, but the way they talked about it, man, trust me, this is hippie. And I
Okay.
mean, not bad hippie, but kind of. Oh, it's guest starring the immortal Superman.
Not like immortal, like he'll live forever, but like in pop culture, he's immortal, which makes sense.
Yeah, but it's just an interesting way of putting that.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of people used to say that in an old-fashioned way. The immortal,
Mm-hmm.
like here's
All right.
famous, very famous figure. So.
I just thought they said that about someone who already died. So.
Well, since Superman never lived,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you can do that too. So the Forever People, they're these group of kids. They are the new gods of Supertown, and they've all got superpowers, and they're here. They've come to Earth via Boom Tube to find beautiful Dreamer, who is their friend. She's been kidnapped, I think, by Apocalypse and Intergang or Darkseid's people.
Mm-hmm.
And they're on Earth looking for her.
The um the other plot is that Superman is as Clark Kent is interviewing this boxer who feels bad because and because he's the best boxer in the world, but he's not really the best boxer because Superman will kick his butt.
Yeah,
And
and so Superman's feeling alienated and disconnected
alone.
from people. Like there's yeah. So when he realizes there's a quote unquote super town and a world full of superpowered people, he learns about it. He's got to find out about it. So he's got to meet these Forever People, and he wants to go to where they're from.
Yeah. The yeah, I like Intergang. Good group of villains.
Oh yeah, Intergang is a cool concept because you've got human agents on Earth being supplied weapons by Darkseid,
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted he and the High Father from New Genesis, they had an agreement that there was that they swapped sons at birth, and then they had peace. They wouldn't be at war or whatever. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so but Darkseid wants to set up a front on Earth to fight New Genesis so that he can circumvent that thing, and then we actually see Darkseid for the first time in this comic. This is his first.
Really?
This issue and the New Gods #1 debuted the same month,
Mm-hmm.
and he appeared in both of those. But they are his dual first appearances.
Yeah.
So,
One disappointment is that I wish Kirby had drawn Superman simply because I want to see what the devil would look like.
well, he does draw Superman, but
Someone drawing his face.
DC didn't like the way Jack Kirby drew Superman's face, so they had Murphy Anderson go back and redo the faces. But when you see the bodies, those are Kirby. But I think they would have had Kurt Swan do it, but he's the main Superman artist, so he's a little busy. So they had Murphy Anderson. They want to keep that very signature look to Superman. And
I'm just curious what Kirby's take on him was.
I can show you some. There was a limited series, a pair of them actually, in the 80s that they did to promote the Superpowers collection toy line. They're not canon, but Jack Kirby did some of those issues, and then you get to see Superman as Kirby did it, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, well, in Darkseid, he's a good villain.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah.
So, and we fight he and the Superman and the Forever People fight Darkseid's minions on Earth.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Forever People treat Superman like, I don't know, they're not impressed.
Well, no, they're not, because they're on a world where everybody has superpowers.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool, and Superman kind of
didn't they mistake him for one of their own people? Didn't he?
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Heads up, friends. We have another volunteer from Supertown.
Yeah, because you see a guy flying in, there must be, but no, and he doesn't know a thing about them.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. He's, usually Superman is all powerful and all knowing, but he's out of his element. It's kind of cool.
Well, and I like the Superman longing for a place to belong.
Mm-hmm.
That's a facet of Superman that I feel is very unexplored, and it's really nice to see Jack Kirby touch on that as an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because he has no peers.
He really doesn't. Even the League, he's doing okay. He's got some buddies.
Yeah.
But he's still a man without a world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
he's gone native.
He could take on the League single-handedly, I believe.
He probably
maybe
could.
Green Lantern.
Well, the thing is, Martian Manhunter is actually nearly his equal in power, and we will have an issue where they fight.
Oh, cool.
That we'll talk about. I think it's an issue of World's Finest.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be months down the road. But but the Forever People, they can by using Mother Box, the 5 or 6 of them can unite and become the Eternity Man, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And
it's just like Power Rangers and every Japanese show.
Well, this predates all that.
I know, but it I wonder if they got it from here. But
it's possible
because it's I never heard of it before then.
Sure.
I mean, it's nothing in Greek mythology is 5 gods get together and hit rings and become a superhero. It may have started here.
It's possible. I mean, Captain Planet comes from this kind of idea too. I like that idea. Voltron Force unite.
Yeah.
Except Voltron sucks and Power Train just suck.
Why don't you just do that at the very beginning and get it over with?
Well, it allows for you to try to, explore other ideas and build some tension and see if we can do it on our own.
And fill some time up in the show.
Nope. And then the Deus Ex Machina, or Deus, however the hell you say it, Deus Ex Machina.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Anyway, becomes. They become the Eternity Man, or here comes Captain Planet, and wipes the floor with the bad guys at the end,
Yeah.
So.
But I like this. This is the second time I've read this. I read this about 20, 30 years ago. And the hippiness of it kind of turned me off, but I liked it better this time.
Well, good.
Okay. But there's this boom tube.
Yeah.
Which is how they get from Supertown to Earth.
Yeah, it's a teleportation.
So Superman wants to go visit Supertown.
Yeah.
And there's a boom tube, and he sees it. And he's flying towards us. Well, man, Darkseid's attacking Earth and all this stuff.
He's like, I can't leave.
Yeah. Well, he still is going there, but he's kicked out because he doesn't really want to go now or something. He's not ready to
He hesitates. He's hesitant because his duty, even though his desire is very strong, his duty to protect Earth, keeps him from following through the boom tube. So he's kind of bummed at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I want to read the second one. It's going to fold in Super War.
yeah.
Yay.
So really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a future time we will have some other issues of the Forever People.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love that's all part of Jack Kirby's Fourth World saga with the new
Mm-hmm.
gods and all that stuff. And he did this in across four different titles. In the Jimmy Olsen,
Yeah.
the ones that you seem to not like, this book, and the New Gods and Mr. Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all really cool comics. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
How well did they do? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Were they successful?
Um, ish. I mean, they all got canceled at
Mm-hmm.
one point, but now they're really huge. I mean, he didn't even finish the New Gods story in the
Mm-hmm.
70s.
Mm-hmm.
It was something he finished much, much later. He came back and did near the end of his comics career. In the
Mm-hmm.
early 80s, actually, by the mid 80s, Jack Kirby kind of had done the he basically moved on to doing animation um,
Really?
and other work. He wasn't really working in comics all that much by the
Oh,
80s.
too bad.
But he still did some stuff like from 1980 to 1985. He did special projects,
Mm-hmm.
but by and large, it was he was mostly doing animation,
What animation was he doing?
like Thundar the Barbarian. He was doing all
Oh
the
yeah. Mm-hmm.
concept stuff for animation. He wasn't doing like
Yeah.
all the cell animation,
God,
but
I hope not.
no, Thundar the Barbarian for one,
Mm-hmm.
a very good example.
Yeah. Which
So,
is yeah. That's cool. Didn't he do the Herculoids?
well, the Hercules was back in the '60s, so I mean, it's very Kirby-esque, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, um, anyway, moving on.
All right.
We've got a couple issues of Howard the Duck.
Um.
Howard number 20. The story is Howard the Human. It's written by Steve Gerber with art by Gene Colan and Klaus Janson.
This is supposed to be a comedy, right? I really didn't laugh that much.
It's not supposed to be like pie in the face, step on a rake comedy. It's
I know that,
here's the
but I
thing,
thought there would be something funny.
and I'm trying to make you understand what Howard the Duck is about. It's all existential dilemmas. That's
Mm-hmm.
the whole concept behind it. Through an outsider perspective, this duck is thrust into a human world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not like that kind of funny.
Okay. I, I thought it'd be wise. I always heard the wisecracking duck, and then the movie tried to be funny. And I
The
don't know. I
movie
always
is
thought
a
that.
far cry from what the comics are really
Yeah.
about.
How can
But
you say it's made by George Lucas? He's a genius. He never does anything wrong.
oh, but
Oh, okay.
remember the voice of Howard is supposed to be that of Jimmy Durante.
Really?
Yeah,
I like Jimmy Durante,
me too.
but he doesn't do any malaprops.
What a what?
Malaprop.
What in the world is that?
Oh,
Things
okay.
like that.
I'm confusicated or something like.
Oh well,
It's a you're trying to say a word but use the wrong word, and that's
yeah.
what Jimmy Durante did all the time. I love Jimmy Durante,
Okay,
and you sent me Inca Dinka Do, which is
I
a
did.
cool song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gadoo, gadoo.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so Howard has been turned by his archenemy Dr. Bong
Oh
into
yeah.
a human
Where
being.
they got that name from?
It's the 70s.
Yeah.
Dr. Bong is like a Bell-themed villain. It's just weird.
Yep.
And we'll talk about him over the course of these two issues.
Mm-hmm.
But Howard is basically hanging around bums.
Right, and yeah, yeah, they're all. He's all worried about poor people, but he really hates this one bum because he starts a fight and it's just he gets kicked out of a
A diner or something.
diner, yeah. But
This one bum like starts a riot basically.
right, and this girl is talking to this guy, and she doesn't like him, but he likes her, so
But she thinks Howard's pretty cool. So she
yeah.
splits amidst the chaos with him
And they
and
go back to their
to her apartment.
and I don't know. No, Howard seems to be really down, but she comes out in her leotards and starts doing yoga stuff.
Yeah.
Ah, and
You got to remember, previous issue, Howard lost his girlfriend,
mhm,
Beverly, to Dr. Bong. She agreed to marry him to spare Howard's life.
Right.
So, which sucks.
Yeah. Um. So we get some um, TNA. So
Well, as much as TNA a Code era comic book can give you, but yeah,
yeah,
the girl, she's
fan
basic.
service.
Yeah, she's sort of like trying to, entice Howard.
Yeah, which you don't know why, but she just likes him for some
She
reason.
just thinks because he doesn't have a care in the world, and the guy that she was going with is like, gosh, he just expects me to do all this thinking for him, you
Right.
know. So,
Ah, sigh. Okay. Okay.
well, then the Howard becoming a human, it wears off. He wakes up the next day and he's a duck again.
Does it wear off, or because he has sex with a girl?
I don't know if he had sex with the girl.
I think so.
Well, that's fine.
I don't know. That's the impression I had. So maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't know. It's not like it's directly depicted, so it's open
No.
to interpretation.
Yeah, but
But so Howard decides to go have a bath. He realizes he's a duck again, and Dr. Bonga shows up to fight him. Right? Oh, he's in the
right.
shower.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
this
hate
leads
that.
right into the next issue, Howard number 20, and the
Mm.
story is Scrub-a-Dub Death.
Right.
Again, written by Steve Gerber,
Mm-hmm.
and art by the inimitable Gene Colan, and inked by Klaus Janson.
Yeah.
So Dr. Bong, okay, he takes a he has got this ball, like a clacker hand, and his
Yeah.
helmet is like a bell. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he takes a big swipe at Howard, and
Misses, hits the floor.
they fall through the floor into some guys having a poker game, and they start fighting Dr. Bong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was okay.
But then he takes a peel upon his ball. That's what it is when you hit a bell. It's a peel.
Mm-hmm.
So Bong takes his clapper hand and smacks it against his head, and it paralyzes these guys.
Right.
So he's as ridiculous as Dr. Bong is, he acts actually fairly powerful.
Yeah, but it doesn't work when his bell. Howard lies in wait, hits him with a pipe,
Yeah.
and it and it hurts Miss Doctor Bong.
Yeah.
And but Doctor Bong can do it to himself. I guess I don't know.
It's
You
his
can,
own power, so I
mm,
guess it makes sense. I mean, it's probably designed that way,
yeah,
so it's not going to hurt him. Because you'd think
yeah,
he'd go deaf, having a bell around his head and then hitting it with like a thing all the
right.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a little bit of a
Yeah.
flashback from a couple issues before that whole arrangement with Beverly and Doctor
Mm-hmm.
Bong, and it's just kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I must say both issues are very well drawn. I like the drawing
Oh, I
style.
love Gene Colan's art. So Howard's kind of on the run from Doctor Bong, and he finds himself a job as a dishwasher,
Mm-hmm.
and he's getting trained by a guy leaving who is a real censorship advocate.
Yeah, he wants to clean up the town,
Hmm.
which is an interesting because you expect him to be. Howard the Duck doesn't like that,
Right.
and but he's leaving to help this one guy clean up the town, and somehow he gets super bubbly.
Yeah, the guy who was gonna, the censorship guy, he does something happens with soap. There's a crazy accident, and he becomes this like living soap thing,
Hmm.
which is pretty stupid actually, but it makes for an interesting comic book.
Yeah. So they figure out how to they throw water on him, but of course it makes it worse.
Right.
So he runs and goes into the worst part of town, and he's cleaning it up. They figured out how to uh, fix it.
Howard and the guy, the boss,
Yeah, the boss.
they figure out a way to cut the cleanser or whatever and beat this soap monster man.
Hmm. And so the Soap Monster Man's cleaning up the worst part of town, and here comes Howard the Duck and his boss, and they um, turn him off,
Yeah.
and the inhabitants of that town are angry at him because they live in a crap hole,
Yeah.
and they wanted it cleaned up, and the guy was cleaning it up, and they stopped him.
Yeah.
And Yeah, some people like the pre-Giuliani New York City, the
Sure.
Times. I've been to Times Square when
Oh,
it's
the Ed Koch era.
yeah, and
Okay.
the Dinkins and whatever, and the Lindsay and all those, Abe Bean. Um, it is kind of Hollywoodish now, and I mean Disneylandification of it, but people have to live in these areas, and crime or the strip clubs and all that makes it seem kind of exciting and
Yeah.
exotic, but
It's
they're not
seedy.
fun. They're not fun to live in, and
No,
and
no.
rich people don't live in those neighborhoods. They live outside, and then they come in to visit.
Sure.
But the poor people have to live in these places.
Sure.
So I thought it was an interesting. They show both sides.
Yeah. And we've read some Steve Gerber, quite a bit of Steve Gerber stuff now in Howard or in Man Thing, and it's a lot of this um, very human society driven kind of stories like making statements kind of thing. I don't have my words right
Hmm.
now, unfortunately,
Yeah,
but you dig it what I'm saying.
yeah,
And it's interesting. In the 70s you saw comics kind of go in this direction, and it's kind of cool.
hmm,
um,
yeah. No, it was interesting that you show both sides,
sure.
and that's cool.
Yeah.
And both sides have a point. Okay,
Yeah.
well, and so let's see the next four issues we have. Hulk smashes again and again and again.
Oh, that's right. We've got some Incredible Hulk stuff. We're going to start off with Hulk number 134, and the story is Among Us Walks the Golem, written by Rascally Roy Thomas, with art by Happy Herb Trimpe, and inked by Sal Buscema.
Mhm.
Um, this is a fun story.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
they
in
all
this.
are,
Yeah,
but
and they are well drawn. Hulk is in Monrovia or something like that.
it's a made up country.
Yeah,
He's in a lot of
yeah,
made up countries.
yeah, which is fine. Um, he wants to be left alone. And is there any more reluctant hero type than Hulk?
It,
I cannot think of one.
They exist, but Hulk is definitely, prime candidate for that. He
Yeah.
just wants to be left alone and usually
Hmm.
gets roped into helping somebody. And he's usually on the lam. People
Hmm.
won't leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
Hulk no like people.
yeah,
They won't leave Hulk alone.
yeah.
It's
It seems like he's Banner is stuck as the Hulk because we're not seeing a lot of transformations back to
yeah.
Banner.
Well, Banner's boring. You
Kind
know.
of is.
I mean, really, yeah, he doesn't do anything. He's a scientist, and
Well,
science is boring unless
well, and you just
usually.
and anytime Banner's around, you're like, God, can't wait till they get him mad.
Yeah,
Like
right. I mean, science is important, and there's some fascinating things about it. But the act of being a scientist is boring, repetitious, meticulous work that does not translate well
right.
into excitement.
And the formula of the Hulk being on the lam and people bothering him all the time is a repetition that is actually exciting.
Right. Hmm. And then this evil dictator.
Yeah.
There used to be nice dictators.
Really?
In ancient Rome.
Oh,
The
sure.
first dictators, but they were expected to give up their power. And
Sure.
then Cornelius Felix Sulla decided to keep it. So, and
Okay.
that's evil dictators ever since.
Okay.
Um, I named my cat after him.
Okay.
Long story, but it's kind of cool. I love dictatorships and hitting superheroes. It's kind of
Yeah.
fun. It's kind of they can have their own little World War II, but without the Nazi element.
Sure.
But they're evil because they're a dictator, and so they bring in the Golem. And is that how you pronounce it? Golem?
Golem.
Golem.
Gollum, Lord of the Rings.
Oh
Golem,
yeah, yeah,
Jewish
yeah, yeah,
folklore. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
So Golem.
And
Yeah. That
it's
the
a
story of
Jewish tradition.
yeah.
It's been around since 400 or 500 years.
Yeah.
And
And so
nice story. It's
oh yeah.
almost a first. It's almost a very unique superhero story.
Well, I mean, it's a benevolent, protecting
Hmm.
monster. And it's perfect to have the Hulk be an allegory for him.
Right. Hmm.
So, and they're remembering their story, and they want to see if the Hulk can be like the Golem
Hmm.
and protect them. The people want to rebel against the dictator, and they're beg the Hulk to help them,
Hmm.
and he doesn't
And a
want to.
little, yeah, a little girl befriends a Hulk and convinces him to help.
Yeah.
And uh, you like the way Hulk is drawn here?
Yeah,
The
I do.
face?
I do.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. What's up with the little kids going to big monsters?
I don't
I
know.
would run. The
You
Frankenstein
know,
movie
here's
was
what it
just.
is. It's the innocence of a child, not judging anybody. You
Hmm.
know, sh- the little girl can see the gentleness and the compassion behind the Hulk's
Hmm.
monstrous exterior. So,
Yeah. A little girl's tears will.
yeah. So Hulk decides to smash the bad guys.
Yeah. Cool story. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Nice story arc.
and the
And
Dictator has this cool, like, tentacled robot machine that fights the Hulk, but Hulk destroys it.
Hulk smashes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, great story. I liked it.
Yeah, that's loads of fun.
Yeah. Um. I didn't
And
bring my notes, but I figured out who wrote 2 years before the mass, which is where they get 2 years before the abomination. There's a memoir about someone's sailing time, so that's got to be where they got the title from.
sure. Yes, Hulk number 159, 2 years before the Abomination, written by Steve Englehart, um, with art by Herb Trimpe and Sal Chapani.
Yeah. Oh, what
So,
is this? Who's the bad guy here? The
oh, the leader.
leader. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The Bruce Banner is escaping from the leader's spaceship, and
Hmm.
I guess the previous issue, the leader had the Rhino, and they were fighting the Hulk in
Hmm.
space. Um,
Yeah. Pretty cool.
yeah.
And
So
Thunderbolt Ross is trying to kill him, but
yeah,
then.
but hang on. But Bruce manages to escape from the leader and kind of crashes back
Oh.
on Earth, but he releases the Abomination, who had been hibernating for 2 years in the desert.
Yeah, and he doesn't know that,
Yeah, and
and it makes him mad when he finds out.
yeah, but let's
Oh, okay.
backtrack a little bit.
Mhm.
The Abomination is captured by the Hulkbusters at Gamma Base,
Mhm.
mistakenly thinking he's the Hulk. They get back to base, and Ross is like, "You idiots! That's not the Hulk. It's the Abomination." But
Mhm.
Ross gets an idea. He's gonna try and convince the Abomination to help them capture or destroy the Hulk in exchange for a pardon or something. And so
Yeah.
he doesn't want the Abomination to know he's been hibernating for 2 years,
Mhm.
so that he won't like go nuts. So he'll help him. So that he enlists the Abomination to help him fight the Hulk.
Yeah. I like the Abomination. Good villain,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah.
like the leader, but you gotta have a powerhouse villain to fight the Hulk, and the Abomination does the
Mhm.
trick.
Right. Or some kind of device as opposed a big robot or something. You
Yeah,
gotta have that. It's
but a
a
guy who can physically take on the Hulk will always be more interesting than a robot
yeah.
or a gun or any something, you know. So
Unless it's Tweaky or something. Oh, okay. Um, that's yeah. I'm not sure why he got re Yeah, he
what?
gets really mad about 1972 instead of 1970.
Well,
And
because the Abomination had last fought the Hulk in 1970,
I
and
think he thought he had won,
yeah,
and so if he got knocked out for 2 years, he lost.
yeah.
Okay.
And wouldn't you go kind of bonkers if you had lost 2 years? Like what?
Hmm.
So
Although if I was in this in the comic book world, that's about par for the course because something goofball weird happening all the time.
yeah, I mean, it's not like he's not already bummed at being this big disfigured monster,
Yeah.
you know, like.
Hmm.
So the Abomination is. I bet his sanity is probably just dangles by a thread.
Yeah, he is smarter and supposedly stronger than the Hulk, but Hulk always beats him because I think Hulk.
His strength increases the madder he gets, the
Hmm.
stronger he gets. It because the transformation is directly tied to his rage,
Hmm.
so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I think he has this animal cunning or something. But a
Yeah,
really cool fight. They,
yeah, and it's great. I mean, and I enjoy the Abomination.
yeah, I enjoy that, and I enjoy Hulk.
Yeah, so Hulk beats the Abomination, and that's kind of
Hulk
that.
smash.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't see that coming. So
Oh. Oh, in about every issue, Hulk says Hulk will smash this or
yeah.
that,
Hmm.
and or Hulk is the strongest one there is.
Uh-huh.
That happens in every
Or people will
single
not leave Hulk
issue.
alone.
Yeah.
People bad or something.
Yeah. The next issue we have is Incredible Hulk number 169, and the story is Calamity in the Clouds. It's written by Steve Englehart, with art by Herb Trimpe, inked by Jack Abel.
Yeah. Really um cool story. Although I think that okay, is Betty was turned into a harpy.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the harpy looks. It looks, I don't know, it just doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but it's dark green.
Yeah.
Her part of her is a dark green bird,
Yeah.
and she's a light green
Yeah.
person.
Okay.
Oh, Thunderbolt Ross has lost his job and got fired, which is
Oh, that's
really
kind of
cool.
great.
Yeah, ain't it though? Well, he's been missing the Hulk, and he's out. He's almost too obsessed with the Hulk.
Yeah.
And he's a J. Jonah Jameson of the Hulk world.
Yeah. Or his little corner of the Marvel U. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never liked him until this issue. I think he's fairly clever here, and he's kind of,
Thunderbolt.
yeah, he's almost too gung ho and all
Yeah.
that. And usually,
Yeah.
modern generals are usually pretty smart.
Yeah.
You have to have a PhD usually and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So,
But so let's back up a little bit. Betty has been transformed into the Harpy.
right.
I'm not sure by who or how, but it's
Mm-hmm.
happened. It's gamma radiation. She's green, so she takes off the Hulk, and they go to this floating city in the clouds, and where they meet the Bi Beast, who is this monster with two heads, one on top of each other.
Which I've never seen before.
This is great because the brow of the bottom head is the lower jaw of the top head. It's really weird.
And the top head's kind of mean, and the bottom head's kind of laid back and
Yeah.
nicer. That is a
Um,
cool.
and we learned that the Bi Beast is an android.
Hmm. They get there the same way Dorothy gets to Oz with a tornado,
Yeah.
and the Cloud City looks wonderful.
Yeah.
So there used to be a civilization here, and somebody, the red, what was it, Red Rider or Red something, um, killed them. I mean, had killed all the killed the people there.
Okay. A Red Rider? Really?
It was something red something.
Okay.
Okay, but all right. I wrote it down and I didn't bring my. That's from X Men. Oh,
Um,
Red Raven.
oh,
Excuse me.
Red Raven. Red Raven was a superhero in the Golden Age.
Hmm.
And he did get, oddly enough, a couple of appearances in the 70s.
Hmm.
He appeared in Namor. Probably appeared in an issue of the Hulk, and he appeared in an issue of the X-Men, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was a winged superhero. Um, and I don't know really that much about him, but he was a Golden Age character that was kind of obscure back from when Marvel was Timely Comics.
Hmm.
So,
Which is not the. Yeah, I'm glad they changed it to Marvel.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's right. MODOK has taken an interest in occupying this city and
yeah.
destroying the Hulk. Man, I love MODOK.
The big
Oh, that's right.
floating, rolling head with these massive.
That's right.
The
Now I
head the
know.
size of a Buick.
MODOK and AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics,
Yeah.
they transformed Betty into
Oh.
the Harpy
Hmm.
to be probably a weapon against the Hulk and stuff. But and the Bi Beast is being manipulated by MODOK, and what else is going on? It's great.
Oh, yeah. They
I
want to
forgot.
take over the city.
Yeah.
AIM is, and they're bad guys.
Well,
And,
yeah. I mean, it would be a great strategic gain for them, technologically, and as just
Mhm.
a floating base of operations. That's great.
yeah, that no one can see.
Yeah, because this was hidden from humanity for
Yeah.
like ever.
Yeah. The Hulk turns into Bruce Banner, and then because of the altitude, which
Hmm.
is interesting. But then Hulk gets mad, or the Banner gets mad, then Hulk comes up and starts smashing.
And he fights the
Yeah.
Bi Beast. And
hmm
does he get MODOK?
No, he doesn't. The Bi Beast realizes that MODOK's going to take over, so he blows up the the floating city,
Yeah.
and then Betty is cured.
Yeah, that's right. And meanwhile, Bruce was trying to use the technology in the floating city to cure Betty,
Mm-hmm.
and he does cure her, but didn't have time because the Bi Beast attacked before he could use the machine on himself.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of stinks. But Betty, it turns out, okay, good. He saved the woman he loves.
And then they fall from the skies to their horrible death. The end. No.
Probably. Of course, we get a cliffhanger. So,
Yeah. No, that's kind
uh,
of cool. Not a bad story. The story of the creature was kind of interesting, and the civilization was sad and oh, very well done. I was pleased.
nice. All right. So we've got one more issue of the Hulk for today. It's Incredible Hulk number 178, and the story is Triumph on Terra 2, written by Jerry Conway and Tony Isabella, with art by Herb Trimpe and Jack Abel.
Yeah, it's the
So,
passion play on another world.
yeah, Hulk is on Counter Earth, and there, Adam Warlock is basically this Christ figure,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, he calls God high evolutionary.
Well, the High Evolutionary created Counter Earth and all the
Mm-hmm.
people on it, so I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
I believe he also created Adam Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And
in the pages of the
in
Fantastic Four.
in the crucifixion of Adam Warlock angers Bruce Banner, so he becomes a Hulk and starts
Yeah.
smashing. Which happened in the crucifixion in our world. No.
Oh.
Although that would have it have made a more interesting passion play.
I don't know. Christ dying for our sins and then all that stuff. That's pretty exciting and sad.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
moving and all that.
yeah.
But add the Hulk,
I
and
don't
you
think.
take to another level.
Oh, we're not going to greenlight that picture.
No.
But this is really cool. I like this issue a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a whole riot that
Mhm.
that spurs from Hulk getting all mad because people have killed Adam Warlock, and he is Hulk's friend, and Hulk doesn't have too many of those.
Right. So Man Beast has taken over the president of Counter Earth.
He's replaced him and is imposing. And Man Beast, and this is a great analogy for the Antichrist and a lot of end times kind of. I don't go in for all of that. I think that's kind of the crazy end of Christianity that doesn't really help anybody in any way. It just makes people want to stay away from religion. So I don't I don't stay away from that. But it's interesting to look at it from a mythological perspective. And so yeah, that's the Man Beast is an allegory for the Antichrist.
And Man Beast is actually a wolf given human form.
Yeah, well, the
in
High
the
Evolutionary took animals and did kind of a Dr. Moreau and evolved them into people.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
there's
so they're the bad guys.
yeah,
in the story.
there are beast men on Counter
Oh,
Earth.
they're good ones. Who Porcupinus?
Yeah,
Is that how you pronounce it?
yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And looks like a guy with a weird afro.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool looking.
yeah,
So these animal people friends, meet up with Hulk, and they take Adam
Adam Warlock,
Warlock's body, which has been encased in
a cocoon.
cocoon.
Well, he was born from a cocoon and then he's returned to this cocoon.
Oh,
So,
okay. I didn't know that. I wonder.
and this is part of that whole Christ
Mhm.
thing. And these good animal folks, they're kind of disciples and friends of Adam Warlock. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yeah. So
yeah, this really is like a Christ story.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's exactly a Christ. So, but Man Beast wants to conquer Counter Earth, and then he wants to conquer our Earth.
Yeah,
It's not good. But then Hulk has something to say about that.
yeah. He busts in on their plan. The good animal folks let him know that hey, this guy's been impersonating the president, and Man Beast has got some powers and stuff. But
Yeah, it's power of hate.
yeah, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
But the power of Hulk being PO'd
Yeah.
seems to be more effective.
Yeah. These enterprising reporters saved the real president by the use of a wooden stick
Yeah.
and bashing the head of somebody. Um, of another man beast, or not a man, animal
Person.
human
Yeah.
person. I'm not sure what kind of creature he's supposed to be.
I'm not sure either. It's
Yeah,
not that important.
right.
Um,
But Hulk fights Man Beast, and Hulk smashes, and he's about to kill him, and then Adam Warlock comes back to life and
yeah.
tells him not to.
Yeah. And
And it's a time of judgment.
he turns Man Beast back into a wolf
Mm-hmm.
instead of allowing him to be killed, which is cool and merciful. Adam Warlock is the savior of Counter Earth, and
Mm-hmm.
he makes a speech to his the followers, the people that he saved,
Yeah.
and then he journeys off into the stars to save, I guess, spread his message of peace and save other worlds,
All right.
which is really beautiful. It's really poignant. Like, thanks a lot, fellas, for writing such a pretty story.
Mm-hmm.
I want to read the other the issues that precede this because this is just lovely.
Yeah, it is. It's very nice. You don't see Hulk being contemplative, but he's thinking about philosophy and all, which is
Yeah,
not a very Hulkish thing to
the
do.
thing Hulk is very emotive, if not very uh, verbose and eloquent.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hulk has deep feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he just wrestles with trying to understand what's happening to him and around him. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's interesting, and this is really cool. Getting. I always say if you're going to read one part of a story, the last part is the one to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we got this issue. Um, I'm glad or I'm disappointed that I think. Oh no, we've got next week. We'll have a little more Hulk.
Yeah.
We've got more Hulk next week. I forgot.
Hulk, good.
Yes, for some reason I was thinking our Hulk block was over, but that's not right.
Oh, good.
Um,
But yeah, I enjoy the Hulk. The Hulk one's really good. I think it's has been Marvel is really doing really well and good stories, interesting. Didn't see this coming. Oh, yeah, I guess I saw it coming. He's crucified on a cross.
yeah,
It's a little
yeah,
fat cross, but it's a cross,
yeah.
all right.
And this is they're being obvious on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and so you don't miss it. And
Yeah.
it achieves what it I think what it sets out to do, and it's really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. I liked it a
Right.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
our last comic book for today is from Gold Key Comics.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tono and Kono, the Jungle Twins, #1.
Yeah.
Um, now, Gold Key had the license for Edgar Rice Burroughs adaptations, okay, and they played around with his characters and
Mm-hmm.
Tarzan and John Carter and Korak and stuff. And when they lost that license and DC got it, started doing those characters, um, they invented some of their own jungle characters,
Mm-hmm.
and Tono and Kono uh, were one of those. Brothers of the Spear were another, um, which is something we'll talk about, I think, at another point. But this is really cool. There's a pair of European twins orphaned at birth or as babies and raised in Africa.
Yeah, and they have ducktail haircuts.
Yeah.
And the problem with this is that I don't. You have white people in Africa. I can watch a or read a book about Africans in Africa,
Mhm.
and I don't need them to be white or Western or
Okay.
anything. I am reading or listening to Watership Down, and it's about a bunch of rabbits.
Okay.
And I can get into the story. I can feel for those animals, even though I'm not a rabbit. I have no idea what rabbits think and all that. So the idea that you had to have the race of the hero to be white or something is to me wrong, and it goes the other way around too.
Well,
And,
sure. It's a very old kind of mentality,
hmm
and they're trying to do an Edgar Rice Burroughs kind of thing here.
right.
Um, and Edgar Rice Burroughs was kind of that way too. I mean,
hmm
you go to Mars and he's like, here's this white Confederate soldier.
hmm
John Carter is the hero.
hmm
Like what?
Right.
And
Although
Tarzan is the same kind of thing.
I can see The publishing companies probably would say it would not work. You know, it would not sell if you don't have somebody people understand. But I don't think that's needed, and I think they're wrong.
Okay.
And I like Edgar Rice Burroughs, and he had some really inventive, nice stuff. And but I think that he could have done it with somebody like one of the Martians instead of John Carter.
Sure. I think Edgar Rice Burroughs, for example, and that template for
Mm-hmm.
fiction is very 19th century
Mm-hmm.
in its thought patterns. And that kind of story still captures at the imagination in a big way in the 20th century, but I think it fades past the 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
The jungle hero comics, you don't see that kind of,
We don't
or
see
novels.
jungle anything anymore. It's
Yeah, it's passe now. But there
yeah,
was a time when people ate that stuff up.
yeah. I remember watching the Tarzan shows, and they just maybe just stumbling over a lost city every other week, and
Sure.
it was I just don't.
I think because there was a time, especially in the 19th century, there was still a lot of big unknown world out there, and there
Mm-hmm.
was a fascination with that. The world is a much smaller place now. There's the unknown wilds of Africa or any old place. It's not a thing that enters people's minds anymore. Everything is at your fingertips. So the jungle story, at least in the classical sense, it's is nomas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think something would have to happen, or a new way of telling those kinds of stories to capture someone's interest in that way.
Yeah, and if you did, it'd probably considered racist, and so no one's going to touch it.
Yeah,
And maybe they're right. I don't. I think they in this issue here, Royal Warriors,
yeah,
they uh, they portrayed the Africans as well. They don't have the largest vocabulary, but they're generally decent and wise people,
yeah.
except for the bad tribesmen who are mean and nasty, just like everybody else. So
Well,
I
that's
think.
just like the Western. You got your bad cattle
Mm-hmm.
rustlers and your good, nice ranchers that are,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same kind of story.
Right. So. Oh.
It's just that the setting is different. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, the story is Royal Warriors, and it just sets up the whole um, everything
Is this
with
like the first one?
it's the first issue, yeah,
Yep, number one.
for Tono and Kono, and it's
Okay.
written. Sorry, it's but it's written by Gaylord Dubois with
Mm-hmm.
art by Paul Norris, who was the co-creator of Aquaman.
Wow.
He and Mort Weisinger created Aquaman,
Hmm.
and probably Paul Norris, because of how notoriously Mort
Yeah.
Weisinger put his name on things.
Mm-hmm.
Probably Paul Norris had more to do with the creation of Aquaman than Mort. So
Yeah. All right. So the twins beat up these jaguars, and they come back to the village, and their adoptive father, their adoptive father tells them that where their parent he found them and their
yeah,
parents,
yeah,
in a plane, and they and so they say, hey, let's go check it out. So their adoptive brother comes with them, and they have adventures.
yeah,
It's interesting that they got the kids out. The chief found the kids, but they didn't bury the bodies or disinter them.
yeah,
And I think that's I don't know. They wanted to find them later, but
yeah.
I thought less of the chief for doing that. I think
It's less a problem with the writing. It's more of a thing of Gold Key's policy of how they would do comic. Gold Key's comics were really clean. They don't really depict death,
hmm,
and you won't see someone killed in a Gold Key comic so
I'm
much.
fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Um,
it's a war, no, I
I,
create
I
some Sergeant Fury ones. No one dies
all
in a
right.
bunch. I mean, World War II. So,
Yeah. Um, and I'm trying to remember the specific guidelines that they followed, but they were strong adherents to the code. They never tried to bend it at all. Um, which is weird because they had some like ghost story comics and things
right.
like that, but I think the bad person would be die of fright or something. But um,
Yeah.
you won't see bloodshed or people depicted being
Hmm.
killed or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a nice story. Then. So they go to the airplane.
Yeah,
They find they find some jewels. They find some letters, and but they cannot read.
right.
So they're coming back, and they get hit by the bad guys.
Yeah,
Um,
and they come across some other white folks that
yeah.
are out there, and they save
Hmm.
them from their enemy villagers or whatever.
Right. Not badly drawn. Kind of. I don't know. Sometimes the faces and the bodies don't match very well or something, or they look weird. And like right here, in fact, kind of something's wrong with the
Proportions.
proportions. Yeah. But generally, it's okay. Colorful and nothing great. There's no
Yeah,
Jack Kirby here, but so the white people go back with them and they tell them they're royalty.
yeah,
Wow.
because they're able to read those letters that they found
Hmm.
in the old plane,
Right.
and
Yeah, but they want to stay with their adoptive father, which is cool too.
yeah,
So.
even these folks that they saved offer to bring them back to quote unquote civilization and
Hmm.
educate them and stuff. They're like, ah, we want to stay here with our. This is our family. This is our home.
Hmm.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a cool origin story for the Jungle
Hmm.
Twins, and I've read one or two other issues of this series, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah. You would think that them living in the jungle in Africa and all, they'd have more of a tan than they do, but
They're pretty white, Midwestern looking,
they could be in Portland.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I guess they can't grow beards, huh?
I don't know, but
But
probably don't want to make them look like hippies.
no, definitely not. In
Yeah.
fact, we are hippied out today.
Oh man.
uh, Tomorrow, yeah, I guess to look back what we've done today, the tomorrow people is the most important.
Forever people.
Forever. What am I saying? Okay, forever
They had
people.
the Tomorrow Man or whatever the guy
Oh
they or
yeah, yeah,
Eternity
yeah,
Man that they turn
yeah.
into.
Oh, okay. The hippie people are the
Gosh.
most or is the most important um, comic book we looked at today,
Sure.
and
Although I
most
think Howard the
interesting.
Duck is an important comic too.
Really.
Yeah,
Um, we have to. I didn't enjoy them. I
that's
I
okay.
I thought it was kind of forced. Although I did like the rubber dub thing. The two sides of City Filth. I liked that, but
Okay.
it was just too cynical, and the jokes didn't work for me. So I don't know. I was ready like, hey, I want to read this. Everyone liked Howard the Duck, and meh. Okay,
I just think it's lost on you, my friend.
I guess so.
Um,
Mm.
but I enjoyed it as something that really stuck out at the time that it was
Hmm.
created. So, yeah, that's the show for today.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you.